Hello, welcome to the WrestleTalk Missed News List. If you don't know what this is, if it's your first time here, this is just a collection of some of the news stories from this week that you might have missed. Some of the stories that might have been overlooked during this week. Of course, if you stay tuned to WrestleTalk.com, you'll get all the news as it breaks. But on the WrestleTalk news here on the YouTube channel, some things get overlooked, and that's what this video is for, to make sure that you stay up to date with all the news. So here are 10 news stories from this week that you might have missed. I am Chopper Pete Quinnell, and if you haven't subscribed to the channel just yet, you should. It's great. We do daily wrestling news videos, sometimes more than daily, and we have good content, so you should subscribe and like the video too while you're at it. Number 1, WWE star criticizes Austin Theory cash-in. I think it's safe to say we all expected a bit better for Austin Theory's eventual Money in the Bank cash-in. Reports circulated a few weeks back that WWE was planning something different for Theory's cash-in, with initial speculation indicating that Theory could wait an entire year and cash in at the last moment or run out of time. However, what we got instead was something historic, for all the wrong reasons. Not only did Theory become the first superstar to ever cash in on anything other than a world championship, opting to go for Seth Rollins' US championship, he also failed in doing so on a night that had 2 different US Open challenges. Just yikes. What happened here? And it wasn't just fans that pointed out the lack of logic in Theory's actions, with fellow Raw superstar Elias chiming in on the bump to question the whole thing. I thought the whole thing was a little bit bizarre. First off, it's an open challenge, so what are you doing in the first place? Secondly, then he wants to use it on a random Monday Night Raw. If I was Austin Theory and I had the Money in the Bank, I would have waited for a way bigger moment, and maybe somebody like Roman Reigns when they were vulnerable. Yeah. Our thoughts exactly, Elias. As bad as this appears for Theory, maybe Trips has a grand plan for this whole thing. He's gonna need a bloody good one to repair the damage done to Theory's credibility, that's for sure. Number 2, John Cena wrestling at WrestleMania? As unlikely as it now seems, given the aforementioned interesting booking choices of Austin Theory on Raw, it was previously perceived that Theory himself would be getting a massive rub by working with the 16-time world champion John Cena in the near future. Under the Vince McMahon regime, Theory was seen by many as Vince's next Cena in a way. A young, brash, clean-cut talent with a great look, he truly ticked all McMahon's boxes. Now reports from WrestleVotes have come out suggesting that Cena will not only be at WrestleMania, but would also be competing in the ring in Hollywood, seemingly suggesting a match with Theory could still be on the cards. Theory himself weighed in on the speculation, posting a picture of himself and Cena taken from the latter's 20th anniversary celebration show. However, he was not the only one to throw his name in the hat for a match with Big Match John. LA Knight from SmackDown retweeted a fan's post on social media of a side-by-side photo of himself and Cena with the shifty eyes emoji in the caption, seemingly suggesting he would be open to being Cena's opponent. According to WrestleVote, Cena is aiming to be the next Rock, and if that is the case, he should be aiming to perform in Los Angeles. John Cena's wrestled at least one match per year every year since his 2002 debut. However, with 2022 coming to a close, that looks like that's gonna change. Hopefully Cena can make up for lost time in Hollywood, whether it's Knight, Theory, or, I don't know, Mansoir, maybe? Sure. Number 3, why MJF has been off AEW TV. Despite currently being embroiled in the #1 feud on AEW television with Jon Moxley going into Full Gear, MJF has been notably absent from TV for the past 2 weeks, bar a recorded promo from this week's Dynamite. This absence came following an attack from the firm, which seemingly was done to write this generational talent off. The reason for this has now been confirmed by Deadline Hollywood, as MJF is set to appear alongside Zac Efron in the upcoming Iron Claw film, which is based on the tragic life of the Von Erich family. According to PW Insider, MJF will play the role of Lance Von Erich in the film, who, while not being a blood relative to the other Von Erichs, was given the surname while competing. This is a massive coup for MJF and AEW, who may unsurprisingly have their first homegrown crossover talent in their midst. Given MJF's talent on the stick and ability to draw emotion with his performances, it's easy to say that this role may be the first of many to come for the 26-year-old. Number 4, WWE booked Angle to cover for Natalya's surgery. Last week on SmackDown, a rather brutal looking injury spot occurred when Shayna Baszler kneed Natalya square in the nose, leaving the veteran a bloody mess in the process. Natalya would even share a photo of the nasty injury on Twitter, adding later that she had undergone nasal surgery as a result. However, according to Post Wrestling, it turns out that while the surgery was in fact legit, the spot with Baszler was not directly involved and instead provided a realistic means to write Natty off from TV, which is actually rather smart. The spot provided further opportunity to portray Shayna Baszler as a badass as herself, and Ronda Rousey looked to dominate the SmackDown Women's division together, hopefully leading to a match between the two, or at least we can dream as such. Number 5. What was originally supposed to happen in the Montreal Screwjob match? A very special anniversary came this week in the world of wrestling, none other than perhaps the most infamous match in WWE history, Survivor Series 1997's Montreal Screwjob. In commemoration of the match, the man at the subject of said screwjob, Bret Hart, recently spoke with Justin Barrasso of Sports Illustrated and detailed what the original plans for the match were between himself and Shawn Michaels. We had another 25 minutes. The match was already good, and we hadn't even hit our stride. Even when we didn't get along, Shawn and I always had great chemistry together in the ring. It was going to really get going after I reversed his sharpshooter. We pictured the crowd standing up and going crazy. That was going to be the moment when it took off. Instead, as we all know by now, the match ended due to stoppage from Vince McMahon, and the rest is history. Number 6. Do Warner Bros. Discovery believe AEW will be renewed? The AEW and Warner Bros. Discovery TV deal has been speculated upon at length in recent months, primarily given that AEW's current deal is up at the end of 2023. While reports in August cited concerns over the next TV deal due to budget cuts at the network, much more positive news has been coming out in recent weeks. 2 weeks ago, it was reported by John Arezzi's Pro Wrestling Spotlight podcast that Warner were looking to secure a long-term deal for AEW by next year, with the network delighted with viewership, citing the return of MJF as a big positive. Now, to add further good news to the situation and rest any AEW fans' previous fears, Fightful Select have now reported that sources within Warner Bros. Discovery would be shocked if AEW does not get renewed with a significant increase in rights fees. The source also added that relations between AEW and Warner have been extremely collaborative and open, with 2022 being viewed as a rebound year for wrestling, not only for AEW, but WWE as well, with increased interest overall. Number 7. Raw's 30th anniversary gets unique logo. WWE's flagship Monday Night Raw hits a massive milestone this coming January, as it celebrates its 30th anniversary on the air. One thing we know by now is WWE loves an anniversary show, with this year alone seeing celebrations for DX, John Cena, and Randy Orton. While speculation was rife regarding where the show will be held, with some reports suggesting it could return to the legendary Manhattan Center where Raw first began, it has now been confirmed to take place at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia. Not only that, but courtesy of Wells Fargo's official Twitter account, we now have confirmation of the official logo for the 30th anniversary show, and needless to say, it's a wee bit saucy. Harking back to the timeless Raw is War logo, the show will instead be labeled Raw is XXX. Now, before you assume we're going to get some kind of Edge Live Sex Celebration Part 2, XXX is simply Roman numerals for 30. But obviously, you knew that already. Just be careful when you're Googling this one, will ya? Number 8. Comparisons between Gunther and Reigns' title reigns. As of right now, Roman Reigns' run with the Universal Championship has reached the 800-day mark, having won the title way back in September 2020. It's honestly becoming difficult remembering a time before Roman was champ at this point. In terms of modern wrestling title reigns, Roman's time as champion is almost incomparable, being more akin to the legendary runs of the names Michael Cole loves to list off, such as Backlund, Morales, Hogan, and Sammartino, than more modern names. However, in modern WWE, there is one man who still has Roman beat in terms of length of time as champion. Gunther, then Walter, was the NXT UK champion for 870 days between 2019 and 2021, which has led to comparison between the two mammoth tenures. In response to this, current Intercontinental Champion Gunther spoke with 10 Count Steve Fall, acknowledging but also dismissing the comparison. Obviously, I see that comparison a lot. I think it's not comparable. I think it's a very different situation. NXT UK compared to the main roster, obviously the competition is not on the same level. I didn't have that many matches, but the matches I had were entertaining and good, while Roman, he's not there that often at the moment anymore, but before he was always present, traveling up and down the country, doing all these live events as the champion. While it is unlikely that Roman will go on to match Sammartino or Backlund's over 2,000-day title runs, by the time it is all said and done, he's going to be nigh on untouchable in modern WWE. Number 9. Masked Singer is AEW wrestler. Fox's hit talent show The Masked Singer has this week seen a very unlikely crossover with the world of professional wrestling. Each week sees mystery celebrities don costumes to cover their identities, with only their voices as clues to their real identities. And the Week 6 episode of Season 8 features none other than AEW's Chris Jericho donning a Bridezilla, literally it's a dinosaur in a wedding dress, costume. Maybe, I should stress, maybe. But it is though, isn't it? A clip surfaced prior to the episode, leading to savvy wrestling fans wasting no time to reveal Jericho's identity. Anyone familiar with Jericho's distinct vocals will be able to tell immediately who the mystery singer is, even if you're not an avid Fozzy fan. Given Jericho has been seemingly more focused on his in-ring career than his music one in 2022, this must have provided a nice way for Jericho to flex his vocal muscles rather than his physical ones for a change. And number 10, WWE has made more money on their Saudi Arabia deal than every WrestleMania ever. Yeah, that's right. You heard me say that right. As highly questionable as WWE's deal with Saudi Arabia was and still is from a moral standpoint, it undoubtedly and predictably has been a resounding success from a financial one. But I'm not sure anyone could have predicted just how much so that reality is. According to Fightful Select, Crown Jewel was the company's most viewed international premium live event of all time, surpassing September's wildly successful Clash at the Castle for a 7-figure viewership. Not only this, but according to WrestleVotes, WWE has made more money from the Saudi Arabia deal alone than every single WrestleMania in history. Every single one. To clarify, that figure is likely between $250 to $400 million, and has been surpassed by just 8 Saudi events thus far. WWE still has around 6 more years of events in the 10-year deal, so the total value will be staggering. WWE have also confirmed this week that the next Saudi show will come in May of next year. Gee, I wonder though, is WWE going to have enough in the bank to keep them afloat until then? No, I'm not too sure. And that's our list. Did we miss any news stories from this week that you would have liked us to cover? Let us know in the comments, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like the video as well, and stay tuned for more content coming soon. We do daily wrestling news videos, and every weekend we have a list like this as well. I've been Chopper Pete Quinnell, and jam that jam.